as possible and see how far they get. Ulster are hurting after a painful European campaign. They most definitely don't want to watch the Tigers running rampant on their own Belfast patch. And Ulster have their heavily documented injury problems, a tale from the trenches with an army of marquee players marooned in rehab. On the bright side, Ian Henderson returns after her hip surgery and plays his first match of the season. It's one of 8 changes from the 60-point tanking in Toulon. Irish internationals Bowe, Marshall, Gilroy and Best all return to beef things up. And talking of beef, tight head Vian Herbst is back. The unfortunate Paddy Jackson, who dislocated his elbow in Toulon, is replaced by Ian Humphreys. To the Leicester team, and we're back to beef again, because the prime Puma ribeye that is Marcus Ayerza, perhaps the best loosehead in the world, returns to the starting lineup, as does Tom Youngs. They were replacements for the bonus point win against the Scarlets at Welford Road. Graham Kitchener also comes into the starting 15 for Brad Thorne, who picked up an early calf injury against the Welsh region. Apart from that, it's as you were. Tom Croft continues to build up his match fitness, and Freddie Burns again gets the nod ahead of Owen Williams. To the replacements, and Ulster's bench shows how deeply they're having to dig into the squad. Neil McComb is deployed on the Leicester bench. So good to see Niall Morris back after injury. Well, it's all about Leicester today, and maybe tomorrow too, as they look for a leg up from others. If the Tigers can get that bonus point win, then they'll be hoping, for example, for a nice wee Montpellier victory against Toulouse, and for Clermont to hockey Saracens and deny them anything.
Well, Leicester has the incentive, the strong and the soaring line-out. Well, Ulster are decimated by injury, already eliminated with nothing to play for except pride. But with Rory Best back and a full house at Ravenhill, that pride could yet be quite some factor. The Tigers are 0 for 3 here, with only one losing bonus point to show for their efforts thus far. This evening, they need not only to break that duck, but to find a way to score 4 tries. Expect them to play for territory, as they did so well early against the Scarlets in round 5. Ulster will have prepared themselves for the catch and drive, but knowing what's coming and being able to stop it are not always the same thing.
The referee is a late replacement. Romain Poit is injured. Pascal Gozer steps in. Well, Leicester made a fast start in the round 1 game between these two. The Tigers had 3 tries on the board in the first half an hour, and that's the kind of unfolding script that Leicester need tonight. Leicester have never won here in Europe. They've been humbled twice by big scores. The Tigers need to park their less than satisfactory Belfast memories and take advantage of Ulster's own European melancholy. Ruan Pienaar with the first touch for Ulster. How strong is his right knee tonight? He struggled with it all season long, and of course he can be almost a one-man game plan for this Ulster team.
Yeah, Freddie Burns' kickoff unerringly found Pienaar there, gave him all the time he wanted, because it was a flat kick to just put the ball back to the halfway line. First line out, Tom Youngs will see Dylan Hartley yellow carded. He'll see question marks. He'll see a chance tonight.
Tom Youngs finds Graham Kitchener at the tail. There's Jeremiah by, and Tommy Bowe looking for one of those trademark intercepts. It was an intercept like that that hurt the Australians so severely in the November internationals. Here is Ben Youngs now. Ben Youngs, who was man of the match against Ulster in round 1 at Welford Road. Miles Benjamin managing to squirrel away from the attempted tackles. Benjamin, a great try-scoring record in his Worcester days, 60 tries for that club, and making an impression now at the Leicester Tigers after suffering a number of severe injuries. Poor pass from Ben Youngs to Kitchener, who Brad Thorne said if he'd been a New Zealander, he might have been an All Black. High praise indeed. Youngs, Freddie Burns, his 12th start at 10 for Leicester this season in that continuing battle with Owen Williams. And here is Jared Payne, his 2nd start of the season at 15.
That's been frenetic and inaccurate from Leicester early on, trying to play too much, too deep, and that was a poor cross kick from Burns.
I was saying to Richard Cockle before the game, is it important that you get some Ulster blood on the carpet before you do your rampant tricks and attempt to score all those tries? 4 tries they need. The bonus point, remember, is essential for Leicester. Off goes Tommy Bowe. Here is Ruan Pienaar. Jared Payne finds Craig Gilroy, who's made massive meters this season for Ulster across both competitions. Ian Humphreys. Roger Wilson carries. Pienaar now for Humphreys. Good tempo about this Ulster start. Here is Luke Marshall, back after his latest concussion. He suffered 5 now in the last year, which must be a concern. Ian Henderson back in action. Here is Ruan Pienaar. This is good from Ulster, a strong beginning. Franco Mandeverbe tries to get the hands free, and he does well to carry the Springbok, who came into this side to replace Johan Muller. But Leicester it is who do the hard work at the breakdown and win the turnover.
Through the gate, Orion.
Not for the first time, not for the last time in his career. Julian Southey, the man getting patted on the head there at the back. But the attack started with that man, Tommy Bowe. What he's so good at is coming off his wing and finding mismatches. A winger against an international loosehead. Now, ERCC, you said, might be one of the world's best, if not the best loosehead. But one-on-one against Bowe, there's only one winner there. And Tommy Bowe, so good. There you can see him just finding the weak inside shoulder. Ulster get on the front foot. In the end, it's Southey and Leicester's skill at just slowing the ball down that just ends that attack.
Tries against Australia and South Africa in November, and 26 tries for Tommy Bowe in the Champions Cup. Fine career for Ireland, fine career for Ulster, the Ospreys, the Ulster right winger, and that is not a good sight for Leicester and for England, with Jeff Parling limping away so early in the game, and England already have problems in the engine room in terms of injuries.
Well, England have got Launchbury out, they've got Courtney Laws out for a couple of games, and of course, let's not forget Leicester. Their captain this season would be Ed Slater, but he's a long-term absentee. Brad Thorne went off early against the Scarlets. It's a real jinx position at the moment, and Stuart Lancaster must be very concerned watching Parling limp off, because he's come back from injury and looked very sharp.
He was man of the match last week against the Scarlets. Tom Croft, nice and light and liftable is Croft. Here is Gilroy. Tom Croft is back there. Nice hands, nice soft hands from Croft. Lovely footballer. Here's Matt Tate. He's off to Bayonne next season. Van der Merwe, did he do enough there to keep the ball in play? The flag is up here on this near side, and Pascal Gozer spotted it late.
Not quite certain why the home crowd were jeering Matthew Tate there. Plenty of height on that kick, and he chased it well enough to force his man Van der Merwe into touch there. The fullback not as big as the lot, but with a little bit of help there. Call goes from the assistant referee. Crowd didn't like it. Bit unlucky Ulster there, you'd say.
Tom Young's 2 tries off the bench last week. Real impact, you might say. And Young's again, they look for Croft. He gets great height, great spring in the line out. Freddie Burns and Jeremiah by, well, he's 36 years of age, but still packing a punch in that evidence. But then Ben Youngs with the frustrating fumble for Leicester. Remember Ben Youngs here a couple of years ago when Leicester lost by a 40-point score. Ben Youngs in tears on the bench. It really affected him that night. Well, I've got some news for you from Scarlets, and it's the champions who have taken the lead here. The carry there by Chris Massoe, and look at the numbers out wide. Matthew Bastareaud able to plough his way over.
Scarlets were outnumbered there, and when the rush came, Toulon were good enough just to wait the pass, and Bastareaud in for the score there. Big game for Toulon, because if they win, they will be guaranteed home. They could be second seed, which might very well be Northampton.
Not stable.
Well, Racing Metro, after that tremendous victory at Franklin's Gardens, #1 seeds at the moment. The top 8, there it is as it stands. And scoring 32 points at Franklin's Gardens. That wasn't a victory, that was a contract killing, Stuart.
I couldn't believe it, you know, Mark. It was a scrappy old game, round one in Paris, and you just thought Northampton weren't up to gear. They'd sort them out at the Gardens, but it was a hugely impressive performance. Northampton were targeted and taken to pieces at the point of strength up front. Jamie Roberts was immense on the gain line. There were a lot of questions unanswered by Northampton, but delirious stuff for the Frenchmen. A really impressive performance.
Little mini battle within a battle is a ERCC against Vian Herbst. Loose head for Leicester, tight head for Ulster. Humphrey's little chip, and Gilroy is on top of Adam Thompson, and the pressure is now on the fullback for Leicester as well. And Matthew Tate trying to roll himself into a presentable position there to help out his fellow defenders. So it's all about the exit strategy here. Here's Freddie Burns, and maybe Leicester have other ideas. They might go from deep, and here is Matthew Tate. Nice little scything run, gets the support from Ben Youngs, and then Tate follows up to help out his scrum half.
Brilliant play. That's a superb kick to end a fantastic counter-attack. Gonover right to left, he just pulled Ulster wide towards the touchline, and Tate has such fast feet, and he's got football awareness. He knows Gonover goes wide, he's opening a hole somewhere else, and he's alert to the space that's on. And I love Ben Youngs' kick there. Little bit finicky in the early part of the game with that knock on a minute ago, but when this ball comes back from Matthew Tate, he's not thinking, what else do we do? Do we run? He knew it was about territory. He made 50 metres. Leicester have gone, what, 80 metres there. Wonderful play, great counter-attack, but Ben Young was superb.
Can they get their hands on the line-out ball? That's the question. Oh, they have done. It's Tom Croft once more. What a start he has made in that set piece.
Stay.
The England international and former Lion. And Leicester form a little pod and attack Ulster through the middle, through Tom Youngs, who is a potent ball carrier, of course. Ben Youngs to Freddie Burns, and they're using the midfield as real battering rams here. That's Nicky Gonover this time, and there's another battering ram. Good to see him back to full fitness, Mulipola, because he does that job well. Cockrell was saying it in the week. He's the sort of player they need in the side to get themselves across that gain line.
Play on.
Ben Youngs, and a good tackle from Vian Herbst. Here's Jeremiah Bay, and again it's pugnacious work from Ulster in defence, which forces Leicester to lose possession and contact.
Well, you talk about battering rams, it's very medieval from Leicester. They're bringing balls back on the angle, big carriers, men like them by there, but Ulster, when they can get their defensive line over the gain line, they're causing problems. Tom Youngs didn't really control that ball at any stage, but Leicester, playing behind the gain line, get hit, and suddenly they're able to make 30 metres. And whilst Leicester have been very forceful in much of their game, there have been a littering of errors, and that's enabled the home crowd and Ulster to feed off them in the first 10 minutes.
Tom Croft was the dummy runner there on the line-out. Sebastian de Chavez took the ball, and a player holding back, an Ulster player in a Leicester shirt. Tom Youngs and Ruan Pinar coming together. Well, and it's a penalty for Ulster.
I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of talk, especially in the English newspapers, about hookers and discipline after Dylan Hartley got another yellow card for a silly penalty. But, you know, Dylan Hartley's not the only international who can give unnecessary penalties away. We'll see this again. Pinar's coming round to try and put some pressure on, just taken out, eased out by Tom Youngs. No way the assistant referee could possibly miss that. That was poor from Youngs.
Dylan Hartley tripping with an arm earlier, and Tom Youngs grabbing with an arm here. And Ulster going into the corner. Ulster wouldn't exactly win the freedom of the streets of Belfast if they lay down here against the Tigers and conceded 5 match points against a side who have become real arch rivals in this competition over the years. And here is Luke Marshall coming in on the angle this time for Ulster, doing what Leicester have been doing through that channel. Franco van der Merwe, what a tremendous signing he has been. Here is Humphreys, little chip into the corner. Luke Marshall, can he get there in time? Not quite, but what an interesting little use of space that was from the Ulster right half.
Yeah, Leicester pushing up very quickly there. And so often the best bet is you switch angle there. He leaves the kick very late, and that's very clever, because that means Leicester are never going to get the turn on. Just a metre too much weight there. And I like the way he switches from the blind side to the open, and he waits just to pull Leicester up. Thompson is always, just about ahead, and he does a very good job just to get his body between the ball and any chasers there.
Well, more bad news for Leicester and more bad news for England, as Tom Youngs, who did dislocate a shoulder in September, is receiving treatment for another shoulder injury. Looks to be in a little bit of pain, but he's a tough old nugget, as was that man in the Leicester and England hookers jersey of old, Richard Cockrell. So Freddie Burns with the restart. And underneath it is Adam Thompson. Freddie Burns slaps it back to Ben Youngs, and here's Matthew Tate again. And they've got to watch Matthew Tate on the counter-attack. He's got really quick feet. Decent signing, you would suggest, for Bayon. Lovely dummy from Freddie Burns, and that's what he can do. He can really open up defences. Now it's Jordan Crane. Another one of those big ball carriers for Leicester, has been doing it all season long. He is their top carrier. And again, it's Tate. Just wrestling himself away from the attempted challenge from Ulster. Now Ben Youngs, Freddie Burns playing with confidence. Here's him by. Top 14 winner with Castra. Freddie Burns, this time he tries the little low harpoon driller, and it's Ruan Pienaar, as so often, sweeping up behind for Ulster.
Nice break there from Freddie Burns. Once again, both Leicester and Ulster trying to play on the gain line. Burns does have this change of pace. He's got a little inside step and go. There's never been any doubt in Freddie Burns' range of skills. Sometimes it's his capacity to use the right skills at the right time. That's the question mark, never the ability. And we saw that ability flower in there.
Yeah, Freddie Burns, who got his chance for England in the summer in New Zealand. And a try score in round one at Welford Road, when Leicester did manage to pull away to a 22-3 lead after just 44 minutes in that game. They already had 3 tries on the board by that stage. That's a good drive by the pack. In goes to Chavez. And now Julian Salve, Australian A international, and Ben Youngs again for Freddie Burns. And it's Nicky Gonova, Leicester's top try scorer in the Premiership this season, with 6 on the end of it this time. Now Burns, oh, it's Tommy Bowe, and Tommy Bowe thought he was away, but Pascal Gazer again thought differently, and Tommy Bowe will have to come back. There's been a high tackle in the middle of the field by an Ulsterman.
And you know, that wasn't one of those speculative, we've got a penalty, so let's go for it. That was a little bit indecisive from Freddie Burns. We see the brilliant left to right, and then we see the other side going the other way. Again, Mbai is just being brought back on the angle. That's where the penalty comes. And Burns now, pauses, and he's not quite in sync at all, is he, with Miles Benjamin there? And it does happen. Now, 17 points, we're all pretty certain will not be enough for Leicester. They need 18, they need 4 tries. You remember the first 15 minutes against the Scarlets, when Leicester got line-outs in the Scarlets 22, they were deadly. They scored a beautiful set-piece move first time, and then drove the Westphalians over the second. This is the area they have to turn into points, and tonight points mean tries.
Well, Ulster, they've conceded 12 tries in their last 3 games, and that equates to 4 tries a match. Just what Leicester need. Croft. He's been a tremendous technician in the line-out so far as Croft, the one-handed take this time, and Tom Youngs, and he spilt the ball in contact. That's not the first time that he's done that. Referee was playing an advantage for Ulster there, but the advantage is over. Now it's Matthew Tate, and he is playing with real freedom, the Leicester fullback, and some vigour too, causing this Ulster defence a few issues, but not releasing the ball at the breakdown, and it's another Ulster penalty.
Wonder how the Leicester management will be feeling at the moment. A lot of unforced errors at the moment, and good as Tate's feet are there, trying to force the game, and Richard Cockerell knows his team are not 70-metre try scorers. They're a team that score tries from close range. They need to get themselves down there. They are at the moment just playing a little bit too much rugby. There's the unforced error. Tom Young's losing the ball. His brother's fumbled once or twice and run into a few brick walls, and then Tate tries to force the game from the back, and suddenly Ulster have a chance, well, I could say to take the league, but I think Ian Humphreys is going for the corner.
Julian Salvi, 7 turnovers this season now, including the one he has added to his total tonight, just tying a shoelace. No more injuries for the Tigers.
See, it looks fascinating, isn't that, the stat, 38% possession for Ulster, 62 for Leicester. But the key to it, when you're a team like Leicester, it's not how much possession it's got, it's how much territory you've got. That is the absolute killer, because Leicester can have 60, 70%, and if it's in their own half, they'll struggle to make the 4 tries.
Well, Ulster, despite conceding 8 tries last week, they did win all of their line-outs. Here is Ian Henderson, his first match since the second test against Argentina in the summer, but the ball was spilled and semi-ripped, in fact, by Leicester out of the arms of the returning Ulster back row forward. Ben Youngs to Burns.
You lost the ball in the tackle.
Good kick from Freddie Burns there. Half-backs in harmony there. Ben Youngs, very slick, quick pass to his fly half, gave him a couple of metres, and Freddie Burns made sure that went, at least into the dugout, where there could be no quick counter-attack from the likes of Gilroy and Bowe.
Well, Ulster won all 6 of their pool games last season, and they were #1 seeds at the end of the pool stages, but they've really fallen off planet Earth this season. A hugely disappointing campaign for them. Rory Best, good line out, has been functioning well. Here is Luke Marshall. Remember, no Stuart Olding, no Stuart McCluskey, both out with elbow ligament injuries. And Franco van der Merwe is not just a good line-out forward, he can carry well, he makes his tackles. Here's Tommy Bowe. What a fascinating angle that was from Tommy Bowe. It was almost at 90 degrees there. Ulster do love to use their wingers at geometrical angles. Here is Jared Payne. Rory Best coming into the line. Rory Best is almost through there, and Matthew Tate has to work very hard in defence. Here's Humphreys. Now Luke Marshall tries to step away from Tom Croft. Pienaar now. Humphreys. Tommy Bowe popping up on Gilroy's wing. Pienaar again. It's the big man. No one bigger than Ian Henderson, who's bulked up since that hip surgery. Now Mike McComish, 2 tries last week on the Côte d'Azur against Toulon, the double champions. Here is Henderson. Franco van der Merwe. It's all very direct from Ulster at the moment. Callum Black, he pops it off to the skipper Best. And now it's Ruan Pienaar. He fancies a little dart himself. And now it's van der Merwe, who goes low and hard and drives. And can Ulster suck in enough Leicester defenders here and then take advantage of it? As Gonova comes in with the tackle. Now it's Pienaar. It's beautifully worked. It's brilliant stuff from Ulster. And in the end, they feasted from the buffet, having sucked in the Leicester defenders left and right, and then they punished them.
Lovely try there. That's Ulster, somewhere near their best. Darren Cave, such a good defensive outside centre, gets his line right. But this try, this comes all the way back. It's a Joe Smith special. You pull it wide, and then the ball back on the angle. It's Heaslip infield to Kearney. You've seen Leinster do it so often, Rob Kearney being the recipient, but this time Tommy Bowe's timing is brilliant. Leicester cannot slow them down as they did in the first 5 minutes or so. The rhythm stays there. The penalty is given first of all, but Leicester outnumbered, and it's very easy for Ian Humphreys to put Cave in. Lovely try there, patient, but brilliantly conceived.
Darren Cave, the second most famous sportsman from the Sullivan Upper School, the most famous being a certain Rory McIlroy. But Leicester pulled left and right across the field. And here's Ian Humphreys. Now, unfortunately, the man who was on the bench for Leicester in the 2007 Heineken Cup final could not deliver the extra 2 points. But a crisply executed try there by Ulster.
So it's not a question of just 4 tries and 5 points. It's a question of winning a game. Ulster will have been stewing on the fact that people are saying, can Leicester get 4 tries? Ulster thinking, well, hang on, they've never got a result here.
Jordan Crane for Matthew Tate and Freddie Burns. In comes Jared Payne, and didn't quite judge that one correctly. Here's Crane. Leicester having to build again. Burns. Ian Humphreys calls for the mark inside his 22 and claims it. No Paddy Jackson. That elbow dislocation keeps him out of not only the Ulster side for the foreseeable future, but also the Ireland team. So Jonathan Sexton and Paddy Jackson both now injured, but Alan Clark, the Ulster forwards coach, now joins us. And you absorbed a bit of pressure there early on from this Leicester team, Alan, but you must be delighted with the response.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very entertaining game. We stemmed them all really well in our 22. That led to good field position, and I thought with great patience went through the phases and scored a good try. You can see we're trying to play with the ball in hand, free the ball up and have a real go ourselves.
I suppose a lot about pride for this Ulster team as Roger Wilson goes through. He's tackled by Tom Youngs, and Ruan Pinar comes in. He's got his opposite number all over him there, Ben Youngs, and Leicester come in and drive him back, and the referee's whistle goes. Alan, are you still there?
Yeah.
Is it more about pride here? Is it all about sort of setting mini goals within this match for this Ulster team in the knowledge that you're already out of the Champions Cup?
And it's about showing, partly, but it's also about showing what we're worth, an 80-minute performance, and no better tournament to be doing it in than the European Championship.
Thanks, Alan. And 8 Ulster men have qualified, have been selected in the 46-man Ireland panel by Joe Schmidt.
On the subject of Ireland, I wonder if we'll see this move from Joe Schmidt's team. It was a great favourite of his at Leinster. The pass that goes wide, the inside ball. As I said earlier, Rob Kearney is a master at it when he plays for Leinster and Ireland. Now we see Tommy Bowe doing it. I wonder when we see the Green of Ireland in the Six Nations in the weeks to come, whether we're going to see this one again. Ends up with that, Darren Cave scoring.
It really was a slashing angle from Tommy Bowe, coming into the action, and then eventually Darren Cave on the outside. It was Tommy Bowe's try that helped bring Ulster back into that game at Welford Road as they attempted to pull back that 19-point deficit just into the second half. And coming up live on Sky Sports 2 next Friday at 7:30, the Ireland Wolfhounds against the England Saxons in Cork. And of course, big Sam Burgess is scheduled to be involved.
Always enjoy a trip to Cork, one of my favourite Irish towns, and it'll be a fascinating game. The Wolfhounds have been very strong in recent years, have really put England under a lot of pressure, and I'm sure they'll be confident, and it'll be a massive test, not just for Burgess, but for everyone else there. 2 strong squads. O'Brien, Healy, geez, there's going to be some massive interest in Ireland. It's not just people in Bath and Stuart Lancaster. Wow.
Nicky Gonova in that 13 shirt for Leicester. Another England player on his way back from injury, but how long will it take? As Manu Tuolangi, and again not releasing at the breakdown, and Leicester penalised there again for the same infringement.
If Leicester wanted to come into this game and take control in the first 20 minutes, it has not happened at all. Ulster look a little bit sharper. I must say, it's testimony to how good Toulon can be, because I was here where Toulon absolutely destroyed them, and they smashed them in the breakdowns. You got someone like Armitage there, he's eaten it up, but that time it was Mike McComish and Ian Henderson doing a brilliant job. And Henderson coming back, it's a big plus, isn't it, for Ulster? He's a good player.
6-6.
Yeah, that was Ulster's only loss at Kingspan this season, the round 2 Champions Cup defeat against Toulon.
Might I just say, the fact that Leicester have conceded 3 penalties in your own half suggests that they are still trying to force the game and play too much from their own half.
Well, there's another penalty coming their way for Ulster if they require it. Here is Ian Humphreys. He knows the penalty's coming, so he puts in the high floater, and can Jared Payne get on the end of it? Can he keep the ball in play? And the answer is no, but Ulster will come back for that initial penalty infringement. Again, frustration for Tommy Bowe.
Ian Humphreys having one of those days. He doesn't always have them, but when he does, he looks a very elegant fly half, and he just makes things look very easily, be it the timing for the pass for Cave, be it that kick there. He's just got an easy rhythm to his game on his best. Pienaar goes.
And it's a drilled one again towards the target man. He's the bullseye all the time, isn't he? Tommy Bowe, they know how effective he can be under that high ball. The former Gaelic footballer from Monaghan, he's all the skills.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's up against a big guy in Miles Benjamin, but technically Tommy Bowe's very good aerially.
And there's Pool 3 as it stands. Toulon, before tonight's game here in Belfast, had already qualified, and they've taken the lead down in Wales. They lead by 16 points to 0 at the Park of Scarlets. Looking good again for Toulon for a home quarter-final.
They look the team to beat, don't they? A massive performance from Racing Metro. But Toulon have got that ability to pick their game up. Anyone thinking they didn't have it in them to go for 3 on the trot should have been here when they demolished Ulster, treated them like rag dolls. It was a hugely impressive, if understated, performance.
Ulster just 1 win in their last 6 Champions Cup ties. That was 24-9 here against the Scarlets, but leading Leicester here tonight, it's Ruan Pienaar for Luke Marshall, and he spills it, and picked up by Freddie Burns as he got the pace to get away from Ian Henderson, full of energy, coming back from injury. The Ulster blindside flanker, but then he topples off his feet and gives away the penalty.
But indeed, but I tell you, sometimes there are penalties that you have to give away. Henderson's tackle on Burns is key, and at that stage, if Leicester get quick ball, they can either boot that ball 90 metres, or there's a very big blindside. And you know, it's not always ill discipline giving a penalty away. Sometimes it's smart play, and this, I think you'll see now, is an instance. Burns scampers off, Henderson gets back, makes a great tackle, goes off his feet there, but Leicester are on the front foot. Ulster are all over the place. They're like a kaleidoscope defensively. Stop Leicester getting quick ball. Henderson says, yeah, take the penalty, reorganise.
Tom Youngs, it's Graham Kitchener on this occasion. Top line-out exponent in the Champions Cup this season. Saramayan Mbai crashes in once more, blunderbussing his way through that midfield, as does Jordan Crane.
No hands! No.
There's an Ulster hand on the ball there, and the referee is saying no hands, and he was screaming it. He said it at least twice. He gave Ulster every opportunity.
I give you information, no hands.
I don't understand sometimes why referees do that. If the guy's holding it, he slowed it down. Therefore, that is against the law. It stops the attacking team from getting quick ball and playing, so the job is done. So you don't say let go now. I mean, the cheats love that because it means they've won. So often they do let go in the end. Again, I mean, they're going for the corner. I didn't mention it because they're going to go for the corner all day. It's not even an option at the moment. Are they going for 3 or the corner?
Well, they're in the corner, and this time it's a Leicester line-out. And the line-out has been relatively smooth so far.
From here, they scored against Scarlets last week, and they need one now.
Jordan Crane, bit of a fumble. Kitchener tidies up now. Freddie Burns, but they're on the back foot here, Leicester. And here's Seramayan Bai. And Mulipola again with the uppercut drive into the heart of this Ulster defence. Ben Youngs goes down the blind side, looking for some quick recycling here. And Ben Youngs finds Mulipola again. The shaggy hair flapping as usual. Youngs to his brother Tom. Ulster trying to make things difficult for Leicester. The breakdown, doing their best to slow it down using arms and feet. And here is Mbai, and he's hit really hard by Rory Best. Ben Youngs again, and it's Jordan Crane coming into the play.
No.
Once more, they're utilising that blind side. Can they suck in some defenders there, as Ulster did to them, as they created their own try earlier? Youngs to the Chavez. Freddie Burns, Mulipola. And they're playing quite a bit of the rugby around the tight head at the moment. He's doing a lot of the heavy lifting duty. Crane to Youngs, and it's Salvi inside to Miles Benjamin.
Just need to get a few more pop passes, a little more offloading going, just to move Ulster around the fringes, Mark.
Just getting a little bit stuck here, Leicester. Not quite finding the momentum. Maybe Mbai can provide it. No, he's not going to, but Ulster hit him behind the gain line again. A shuddering hit. Ian Henderson involved. Here's Freddie Burns now, and now Matthew Tate has been dangerous all night for Leicester. Luke Marshall comes in with a tackle, and again Leicester struggling to clear out quickly. Tom Croft. Alan O'Connor, who was the top tackler against Toulon last week, makes the tackle here. Freddie Burns, Nicky Goneva on the switch, but Ian Herbst was watching him all the way. South African tight head makes his second big hit of the night.
This is tremendous defence from Ulster. It is so aggressive. They're winning the gain line, not with the ball, but without the ball, and they're just driving Leicester back at the moment.
Miles Benjamin, it's what we're saying about the goal within a goal. It's Ulster trying to defend their turf. Ben Youngs into the corner, and more territory for Leicester.
That's a smart kick from Ben Youngs, because Leicester have had a great deal of possession in the last few minutes. You can see that 80% in the last 10, but most of that possession has been on the back foot. And you're not going to score 4 tries 50 metres out going backwards. So in the end, Ben Youngs just thought, hey, this is amounting to this total sum of nothing. Let's just chip one down. We got Tom Croft, we got Graham Kitchener. Let's try and put some pressure on Rory Best. Smart.
Best to O'Connor, who's done well on this Ulster side, replacing the injured Dan Toohey. Another arm injury for Toohey. Here's Pienaar. And it lands on the grass and then comes off the point of the rugby ball. And Ian Herbst flops his massive bulk on top of it. And Ulster have it, and Ulster come away. Ian Humphreys with the kick. Jared Payne. And I thought for a second he was going to try one of those trademark catch and instant offloads in one movement.
Yeah, I think Jared Payne knew, though, if he offloads that one in field, that could just as easily go into someone like Nicky Goneva's hands. It's not a great strike, is it? He hasn't made a great contact there. And you can see, ball inside, just as likely to go to a Leicester man there. So the wise thing actually is to take it, feel the tackle of Matthew Tate, and accept that the ball's going to be cleared, but nothing more than that.
Tom Youngs-Croft.
It's a more.
Crane back to Ben Youngs, who was sitting a little bit deeper there. Gilroy, man and ball, and Thompson's on top of him. So Leicester able to contest there from the Young's kick. Here is Humphreys, try scorer, Darren Cave. Matthew Tate. Oh, he is playing superbly well. The confidence just rippling through those veins of his. And now Gonova takes it on. The offload is sweet, but there's a foot in touch on the far side.
Well, Darren Cave could not have been more forthcoming there for Matthew Tate. That was almost practice ground. Right, kick the ball straight down Matthew's throat and give him a chance to counter-attack, and he'll do it very well. Cave with the kick, and then it's his mate Marshall. One-on-one, done for pace on the outside. They're going to love Matthew Tate in the Basque, aren't they, when he goes to Bayonne?
Well, he's being signed as a replacement for Scott Spedding, who's off to Clermont Auvergne next season. Benjamin gathers, Tate again. Not running this time, getting some support from Adam Thompson. And Thompson do Jeremiah Mbai, trying to keep the ball free in that right arm. Here's Gonova now. Freddie Burns to Crane, Rory Best and Alan O'Connor between them, up very quickly. Again on Leicester as Ulster press hard, and Freddie Burns goes into the corner. And which side of the corner flag is it going to roll? Well, it goes Leicester's way. Great kick from Freddie Burns. It's now the last 10 or so, Youngs in particular, now Burns finding some good kicks, and they're starting to get some good territory. The Irish international hooker Rory Best at the moment is doing very well against this formidable Leicester line-out, but Leicester, I think, have just got to start putting men up there and trying to put some pressure on Best here. This is the best position for Leicester to get what they really need now. It's a first steal. Alan O'Connor takes the line out.
See, they sent Croft up to the front, but O'Connor did a cracking job.
They're also got to get out of dodge, and it's Pienaar to do that for them. Here's Miles Benjamin. He's got real pace. They say he's the quickest man in the Leicester squad. Ben Young's tugging the ball out of the breakdown. Mullipola trying to generate his own momentum there. And Leicester have found that difficult to do against this Ulster defence. Freddie Burns has overcooked.
It's funny, isn't it? You know, at the start of the game, we talked about Burns' ability and that lovely run, and then his dithering pass going the other way. We've just seen him now put in an absolute peach of a kick right to left. A couple of minutes later, an absolute horror. He's just too inconsistent at the moment in his game. Free kick for Leicester.
Mullipola to Ben Youngs, Freddie Burns. Here's Salvi, quite quick off the mark there was the Australian A international. Here is Freddie Burns again, and Nicky Gonova. There's a fumble, a miscommunication of some sort there in the Leicester ranks. Back goes Freddie Burns. Tommy Bowe tries to get the tap tackle in. So this is not what Leicester demanded from this game. 0 point after 37 minutes. They had 3 tries, remember, by the 44th minute in the home game. Matthew Tate, high and into the arms of Ruan Pienaar. Ian Humphreys, and he chases the kick. And is he going to get the tackle in on Adam Thompson? A really strong pumping handoff on Luke Marshall, but then swamped again by white shirts. And the Ulster fans are really appreciating the endeavour. And then the turnover. Here's Alan O'Connor. And Leicester will have to be quick here to reset their defence, because there's lots of Leicester players on the ground on this near side here. They've got to fill those holes on the open side. And there's a hole for Ian Humphreys. And it's the caveman who scores again.
Well, now it is getting desperate for Leicester. And again, You know, Humphreys just suavely goes through the gap there, and Darren Cave picks a lovely angle there. I was thinking in that attack, you wouldn't think Ulster are out of contention because they're playing with so much heart and pride. But I think, you know, because they are out, they're not under pressure. Leicester are under pressure, they're making the errors. Ulster, without the pressure, just flowing into their game. Super little break there from Humphreys, draws two to him, and Darren Cave just waits, comes off the line and in there for the score. Leicester looking under pressure. That's lovely play. Are we hearing a potential knock-on in the ruck?
We are.
C'est bon, hein, il saute au courant, c'est bon.
I think wants Philippe Bonheur, the TMO, in our trucks to have a look here.
Voilà, on a les images,
and it's a knock-on in the ruck, we are told. Pinar picks that up cleanly.
Well, it really should be clear and evident, because if they're looking for a knock-on in the ruck, they should be seeing that. The referee's in a great situation. Certainly nothing from Ruan Pinar's hands there.
Nothing clear is an obvious for the knock-on. I may award it twice.
No, it's a try. It's nothing clear and obvious. You're quite right, Stuart.
I'll say that then. It's not clear and obvious. The referee is about 40 metres closer than the assistant referee who's called it. It's not that obvious, so why is he calling it? And that is not what the TMO is called for there. You know, they've got to see it. It causes problems. It's one of those things, you chat to Nigel Owens, it drives him mad. He wants clear, decisive calls.
Ruan Pinar taking the conversion here. Leicester, they've lost all three of their visits in the Champions Cup to Ravenhill. Ulster are actually past the 100-point mark at home here now against Leicester. And at the end of this first half, they lead by 12 points to nil and 2 tries to nil. And so far, it's Darren's day in the Kingspan.
Well, Leicester still have their problem, you know. Very good against the Scarlets at home, but let's not forget 2 weeks ago they were hammered by Harlequins. They are not the team away that they used to be. They don't leave Welford Road with the same confidence, and right now they look very much underdogs. They've got a huge amount to do if they are to resurrect any hope at all of making the last 8.
So the final play of this first half, and Ulster know it, and they're deep inside their own territory here, and they'll be very satisfied with the way things have gone for them in this first 40. They've absorbed quite a bit of pressure from this Leicester side, but Ulster defended really resolutely, and Leicester really haven't created a clear-cut chance. So Ian Humphreys just runs the ball out of play, and it's been a thoroughly professional performance by Ulster in that first 40 minutes. 2 tries to nil. Of course, that's what Leicester have been looking for in this first 40 minutes as they strive for the bonus point. But at the moment, that looks like a far distant target for the Tigers. And it's been all about one man in terms of the scoreboard and the tries, with Darren Cave securing a first half brace.
Let's bring you the story of round 6 so far, starting in Pool 2, which got us underway today. A disastrous start at home for London Wasps. Ashley Johnson sent to the sin bin from the kick-off, and that had the initiative to Leinster, who scored 2 first-half tries. Fergus McFadden here, Isaac Boss also crossed before half-time. They were 26 up at the break, but Wasps came storming back. Matt Mullen, and that try from Nathan Hughes tied things up. And with the last play of the game, Andy Goode had the chance to steal the win, and with it the pool, but it went wide. So Leinster take the pool, and Wasps at the moment in one of those best runners-up spot. And unfortunately for Harlequins fans, the draw in Coventry means that they are out, because they have the worst of the head-to-head between themselves and Wasps. But 7 tries for Conor O'Shea's men. Marlon Yard with the 6th, but unfortunately not enough for them today. Let's take you to Franklin's Gardens, where an extraordinary performance from Racing Metro has seen them go bursting not only into a home quarter final, but also as top seed. Jamie Roberts with the bonus point score there. And this is half-time at Parker Scarlets right now, and defending champions Toulon seem to be easing rather than bursting their way into the knockouts. They are comfortably up against the Scarlets. Mattia Bastero with the only try so far. Lee Halfpenny is kicking beautifully as well. And Toulon City on their way to a home quarter-final. And here, unfortunately, for Leicester, things are not going their way because they are down by 12 points to nil. 2 tries from Darren Cave. And although Ulster are out, they are going out and seem to be taking the Tigers with them. So as it stands right now, these are our quarter-finalists. Racing Metro cannot be caught as top seed. Toulon are in and on their way to a home quarter-final. Leinster in and holding a home quarter-final for now. But Clermont and Toulouse have cards to play tomorrow. Northampton cannot be caught as one of the best runners-up. Wasps and Saracens with the keys at the moment to those 2 other best runners-up spot. And Leicester, therefore, have a huge amount of work to do. A quick look at the stats. Well, they're obviously down by 12 to nil. They've had more of the carrying game. They've had more of the meters made as well. Ulster with more defence in that first half, but too many errors, particularly handling errors for Leicester, mean that they are in a bit of a hole. Scotty, have they been pushed into it, do you feel, Leicester, or have they fallen into it themselves?
Well, we said they had, the game in their own hands. They fumbled it, didn't they? And a lot of that is to do with the way that Ulster have come out. We said before the game, could they come out? What are they playing for? We talked about the pride. We talked about the passion. We talked about Best really getting into his forward pack and really driving them forward. And they've certainly done that. I thought they've been brilliant. Henderson's been good. Van der Merwe's been good. Best's been good. They've all been good in and around the breakdown. And absolutely incredible 40 minutes where they have been in this pool so far.
Where's it been all season, this kind of performance from Ulster?
Well, there's no question. The crowd's buzzing here for a very good reason. That's the best first-half performance there's been for months. And there's no doubt Leicester have come out and met a fired-up Ulster side, but it's been intelligent and it's also been accurate. In defence, they're coming up. The press and line speed is putting Leicester under all sorts of pressure, forcing unforced mistakes.
Yeah.
Also, they're not committing to the ruck. And then when they see a chance to go for the ball, they're creating turnovers. Henderson has been superb, and Ian Humphreys is mixing up the variety of the attack. And they're asking questions all over the pitch, but the intensity is there, but also technical accuracy. It's been a super first half.
Try time. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Joe picking up on the press. Just outstanding here at the Kingspan today. Leicester wanting the 4 tries, wanting the bonus point. They want to go and attack these wide channels and score a load of tries. But my goodness me, just watch this line shift as soon as they go off the top. We roll it on, we come, wait for it, line-out's not finished, line-out's not finished. These are sprinters. Here they come. By the time Freddie Burns gets the ball, look where the gain line is, back there, and then round the corner we see the arch interceptor, Tommy Bowe, just shutting off these wide angles. Do not come to Kingspan and try and play wide before you've taken us on up front. Same thing again, wide, ball on the deck. Then they've got their gander up. They're looking for tackles. So Leicester go, let's go up the middle. Smash. Henderson, Best and co are waiting to hit him hard and stop him. Right now, Leicester aren't playing that badly. They're just on the road, and the home side are feeling the passion.
What about Darren Cave, though, and the role that he's had? I mean, 2 tries in the first half, and it seemed to spark a conversation as to where he fits in Ireland's pecking order right now. And where is that?
Well, I'd move Henshaw to inside centre. I don't understand. Tyrone's telling me his face maybe doesn't fit. Darren Cave, outstanding footballer, great in Toulon last week. We watched Tommy Bowe do his stuff in terms of setting up the initial try, in terms of the break. Here he is again. You wonder why Tommy Bowe seems to be the first tick man on every man's team sheet. He spots the gap through the middle, and then from there, Tyrone, we just see Ulster playing at pace.
Well, Bowe has had licence to roam. He's popped up absolutely everywhere. Breaks the gain line, and they've been recycling the ball really, really quickly. And here you see again, Rory Best keeping it alive, driving forward, and then it's just simple composure and patience. And something that Ulster haven't been doing for quite a long time is taking their chances when they get into scoring situations. And here it's just simple hands, and they use the full width of the pitch, and Cave, the arch poacher.
Yeah. When you have a look at it, you turn it around, we have a look at Leicester. They're still in this game. They can still go out. They did score 4 tries. First of all, they need to get into the lead. How do they do that? They need to play in areas. They're not playing in areas. All of a sudden, we're seeing Freddie Burns out of his 22, trying inside, outside. Play in areas. Your strength is your pack. Put these big men on the front foot. If they do that, then they can get back into it. If they don't, then Ulster will run away with it.
And from an Ulster perspective, I mean, the crowd are in full voice behind us. The potential here to set themselves up for a back-end season run.
They've got a run of fixtures which, on any normal weekend they should win, which would put them into a very good position in the Pro 12. But they need something to galvanise their confidence.
Yeah.
That's sort of a 40-minute performance. They want an 80-minute performance.
Yeah.
If they can get that, that sets them up for the rest of the domestic season.
Ireland's call is ringing out here at the King's Band. There has been longer periods between cheers for the home side, but they are potentially going to raise a glass this evening if they can put Leicester out. They're not out yet, the Tigers, but they are certainly down, and they've got a lot of work to do. Second half in just a few moments' time. Chance for Toulon in the second half at Parker Scarlets, but they look pretty comfortable at the moment. 19 points to 3 up against the men from Llanelli, and they are on their way to a home quarter-final. Leicester at the moment being read the last rites. We've had miracles in round 6 before. Tigers fans, it is time to cross the fingers and pray for a little bit of magic. 12-0 down, Ulster finishing with a bit of a flourish, but what have the Tigers got to salvage their European campaign? At the moment, they are not in the top 8. It is Racing Metro, Toulon, Leinster, Clermont and Toulouse who at the moment are taking their pools. Northampton are in as one of the best runners-up. Wasps and Saracens are also in there, going through as those best runners-up. But that Saracens on 17 is the one that Leicester are looking for. They need a mighty second-half performance as we hand back to Stuart and to Mark once again.
And there's the man who's done the damage, Darren Cave. Tommy Bowe has been heavily involved, as always, as well for Ulster. What Ulster's fans wanted tonight was a fired-up statement of a display, and they also want to send the Tigers tumbling home with defeat and to finish their own European campaign on a high point. And Stuart, have you been impressed with the way Ulster performed in that first half?
Excellent. What impressed me most was the mental edge they brought to the game. They really did. You know, they said in the week we were going to come out and give the fans something to be proud of. They've done that, and they've been accurate, and they've been more intelligent in their game. I've been very impressed with Ulster. The best I've seen them play, I think, since they beat, I think it was the Ospreys here back in October.
Ian Humphreys, nice and low and tumbling away from Matthew Tate.
We talked about intelligent performance. No one's encapsulated it more than Ian Humphreys. You know, he's in his 30s now, and there was a bit of despair when Paddy Jackson was out, and it's a real blow for Jackson, because I think he would have filled in for Johnny Sexton against Italy in a couple of weeks. But Humphreys has come in and he has just probed and pushed the game around. Little chess master, and he's done really well for players around him.
Spent several years at the Leicester Tigers. Tom Youngs, up goes to Chavez, Ben Youngs, Jordan Crane, Rory Best comes in with the tackle.
Stop.
Ben Youngs back to Freddie Burns, who's had a sort of a roller coaster type of game. Freddie Burns, some great stuff in there.
Burnsian, that's how Freddie is. He's brilliant, he's mercurial 1 minute and he's pretty awful the next. He was put under a lot of pressure there, and to be fair to Ben Youngs, Youngs hasn't been afraid to take a lot of the kicking responsibility, but that's a good game for Ulster to put the pressure on the Leicester kicking game, and Rory Best ensconced in the Tigers 22, and you feel that it's a minor miracle required from 12-0 down for Leicester to get out of this pool stage. It's probably a major miracle now.
It's another good line out by Ulster, taken by Alan O'Connor. They haven't really used Franco van der Merwe in that set piece so far, who would be Ulster's top line out man. And here is Mike McComish, who was one of the top carriers last week for Ulster when he scored those 2 tries. And it was he who broke free. Here is Roger Wilson. Now it's Leicester's turn to defend with ferocity. They're going to need it. Here's Ian Humphreys, again coming in off the wing. It's Tommy Bowe. They do like to involve their wingers, to Ulster, all over the park. Van der Merwe sets for Pinar. Rory Best at pace. Good footwork to get away from Mulipola. Humphreys pulls the ball back for Tommy Bowe. Here's Darren Cave for the hat-trick! Well, Ulster are hammering the Tigers here tonight, and that is what their fans demanded after a dispiriting Champions Cup campaign.
33-0, 40 points to 7, 22-16. That's the roll call of Leicester defeats here at Ulster, and this is now starting to look like another of the big ones. McComish, he's come in and he worked so hard, just keeps it going. But Leicester, there's no real press or aggression in their game there. Burns just gets sucked in. Cave then has space outside him. Leicester don't hold their width. What's Freddie Burns now? Just comes in there, has to stay out. Off the right foot, Cave. Hat-trick for the hero.
Well, I said that Darren Cave was only the second most famous sportsman from the Sullivan School after Rory McIlroy. Maybe Darren Cave is trying to change that tonight. A very gloomy picture in the Leicester box. The face of Richard Cockerell.
And Rory who right now here at Ravenhill? Rory who? It's all about Darren Cave and Leicester. How well are Ulster playing, but Leicester, there's going to be a post-mortem.
Yeah, take a bit of that, Leicester. Ulster obviously rather upset with the way things unfolded down at Welford Road, and tonight they have hit back.
Burns steps in, has to stay out. Cave takes the pass, steps off his right foot. It's a good finish. It was easier than it should have been.
Just past the 150-point mark now, Darren Cave, in terms of appearances for Ulster. Off goes Craig Gilroy. But one of those, two of those, trademark spins of his. And the offload for McComish is sensational. And the men in white are rampant here. They are cutting Leicester apart. Here is Henderson, who's looked really fresh back after injury. Jared Payne now. Nicky Gonova makes the tackle.
It's a high tackle, flag up.
There's a double or treble roll on the floor there by Ulster, but I think Pascal Gozer may want a closer look at that. Let's see.
Well, flag came out for a high tackle there. I think it was Nicky Gonova.
Oh, he's going to the pocket. And
one high tackle by you in the first time, and second high tackle is a yellow card for you.
Leicester are the curtains about to be drawn on their Champions Cup challenge right here.
Well, viewers, my director was screaming, look at him go. My sound man on the right was jumping up and down like a jelly bean. Everyone's going crazy here as Gilroy starts spinning. The whole ground is bouncing there. Brilliant attack. You sense here that Ulster perhaps should have kept this going left to right. They don't, but in the end they get the yellow card. This is the moment, just offload that ball. You could see Jared Payne wanted that. There was a try onto the right, wasn't there? Then it gets slowed down, and here is the high tackle, and that is no way a yellow card, surely. I mean, if that's a penalty, it's borderline yellow card. Love to see that. Love to see that again. Here we go. Well, unbelievable decision.
Yes, it looks very soft. Although Gozer did say he was guilty of a similar offence earlier on in the game, but even so.
But I don't think that was even an offence, was it? You can't yellow card someone for nearly committing a second offence. Well, you obviously can. Just has.
Alan O'Connor, good take again. And they've been clever in the line-out, not going to Francois van der Merwe. It's obviously a tactic, because Leicester will have been expecting that. But then there's an obstruction from Ulster, and that'll be frustrating for them, especially with Leicester sitting on the yellow card.
20 in contact, accidental offside you.
Yeah, the plot for this game, we talked about Leicester came here having to get 4 tries, having to get up to 18 points, and then just see how the chips fell tomorrow. And we talked about Ulster only having pride to play for, having a season that could go one of 2 ways. We've got to remember now that Leicester are not having that powerful a season in the Premiership. They now look as if they are going out very rapidly in the European Champions Cup. And these are difficult days for Jordan Murphy, Richard Cockerell and that Leicester management, because Leicester's a club where they have high expectations. To not qualify is poor, and the pressure will be on them in the Premiership to come up with something.
Yeah, they're outside the playoffs at the moment, are Leicester, as are Ulster indeed in the Pro 12.
Both teams have got to start winning away games, haven't they? And at the moment, that looks way beyond the Tigers.
Referee wants a reset. It's interesting, it's the 8th meeting between the two teams. Ulster ahead 4 wins to 3. But in 2004 here, I remember Leicester were beaten 33-0. And after about 60 minutes of that game, the crowd here at Ravenhill started chanting, "Bring on Martin Johnson." He'd been on the pitch for the entire game.
That was the lunchtime kickoff, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that's what you call a bit of Belfast humour.
Sure, Martin Johnson saw the funny side of it.
I bet he laughed his head off.
By the way, when I said this is the best performance since they played the Ospreys, my mind was going, it was Glasgow.
Yeah, that was the 29-0, I think, or there or thereabouts. The other game at home here when Leicester were whipped was a 41 points to 7 defeat in 2012. That was the game that reduced Ben Youngs to those tears on the bench. And Ulster doing well there to twist the scrummage round or force Leicester to do it and turn the ball over.
Well, you look at this Leicester front row as well now. I mean, Aertza, Youngs, Mulipola, Kitchener. I know Jeff Parling's gone off the field, but they've still got great strength there. It's they look a little bit disillusioned. They look beaten at the moment, don't they?
We just wonder where they can get the motivation from now, Leicester. They came here knowing they had to win with a try bonus point, and right now they're staring at conceding a try bonus point and a heavy defeat. There's Pool 3. As it stands, Toulon well clear. They're well ahead at the Park of Scarlets against Clonethley, and they will most definitely top the pool they had qualified before tonight. 26 points to 3 now is the score down in Wales. Juan Schmidt and Nicolas Sanchez, who was the man of the match last week, despite the Stephen Armitage hat-trick, and it's Brian Obama who goes in.
26-3 there. One of the things we talked about a couple of minutes ago, we talked about Leicester not offloading at all and just the ball going to ground and can't get any quick ball. Did you see Juan Smith there? The way he did not let that ball die. He popped it up, and it's that secondary momentum to the move that just drove the Scarlets off the ball and created the hole for Habana. Leicester have not found that rhythm today. Ulster now is coursing through their veins.
They'll be happy with that scrum. Ruan Pinard away at Humphreys, and there is space wide out here for Jared Payne, and they just had to keep their pants on straight there, Ulster, and they were in for the try bonus point, and it is execution time for Ulster again against Leicester, who are now facing yet another big loss in Ravenhill.
Gilroy, the man that comes with the guillotine for the Tigers there. That was all too easy though. First phase, Leicester get sucked in midfield. The timing is very good, but they were very tight there, Leicester. There's no press coming up. Tate's really in no man's land there. He's not coming for his man. He's not really committing himself to the winger. Makes it pretty easy there for Jared Payne. Everything is done just so, but Leicester really were poor there.
Follows up the twirls with a try.
Now we are talking water into wine type miracles for Leicester to get back into this one.
Well, it's Ulster's kickback after that 60 points to 22 defeat against Toulon. Last week 8 tries to 4 tries, but they have picked up a try bonus point now in 2 consecutive games. Well, they're loving that here at Ravenhill now, the Kingspan, this virtual sellout, I think it is. They are rejoicing.
Well, it was penal when Ulster beat Leicester at Welford Road, who produced an absolute cameo. His kicking fantastic, but this is a very complete performance from Ulster, both with and without the ball. Most impressive.
Gilroy takes.
He's had a great second half as well, hasn't he?
Played in the November series, Gilroy, in the Georgia match. Ireland struggling at that time with a few injuries to key wingers like Andrew Trimble, who's not too far away from a return for Ulster. And there's a penalty against Ian Humphreys.
I think a number of forwards there didn't retreat the 10. The ball went very high, didn't go any distance. Ian Humphreys was not penalised for a poor kick.
He said 10. I thought he was penalising number 10.
There are coaches who say penalty against you for a useless kick. It wasn't a great kick. I don't think Gozer's got the right to say that to him.
I think you're right.
This is I mean, Leicester are done and dusted as far as Europe's gone this year. This is now a test of their character.
Yeah, Leicester 0, not a good sight. There's a sight that's usually impressive as Mulipola carrying. He hasn't really got them into the positions he normally does, Mulipola, with that big heavyweight game of his. But they have got a penalty. Ben Youngs holds up 2 fingers, maybe suggesting something to the referee.
Well, this is A1 zone for Leicester in terms of scoring, but they haven't been that accurate. Kitchener and Youngs haven't been on the same wavelength today as they were against the Scarlets. Need to be really neat and clean here.
Good line out taken by Kitchener. Ulster hitting that maul hard, but then sliding off the corner of that maul, which means they have to get in quickly behind it again, and they've done that pretty well of Ulster. Pile driving into the Leicester forwards. So recovering the situation. Ulster there. Here is Tom Croft. Now it's Ben Youngs. Little short ball to his brother. Brothers in arms. Telepathic they should be. Here is Adam Thompson. Adam Thompson gets away, and Leicester do get their try. You feel it's going to be a little bit too late for them now, but it does give them a semblance of impetus.
Well, I said it's a test of character, and Leicester bounced back well because the line-out wasn't good. Ulster did a fabulous job. But Thompson is a very, very smart player. He's got good feet, but he's a big, powerful man. And Adam Thompson worked that space well for himself. Steps inside, big handoff there of Herbst, he's over. Gilroy, all he can do is go along for the ride.
Scored a hat-trick in his Premiership debut for Leicester against the Exeter Chiefs, I remember. As Freddie Burns lines up the conversion with 30 seconds left on the yellow card. Leicester are preparing to replace their entire front row, I'm being told.
All right, I'll say it now. Leicester have their first try. They've got 25 minutes to get 3 more tries and win this game and turn it around. Fanciful, but at least they've got the first one.
For your water into wine moment.
Yeah. I love those moments.
I've heard that. And there's the confirmation. Tom Youngs is off. Geraldini on, Rizzo on for Ierza. And it's fine. They got to run. They got to go. They got to dart. They got to test this Ulster defence. And as Mick Doyle said famously many years ago, the Ireland coach, they've got to give it a lash. But it's difficult to give it a lash from there.
Nicky Gonover back. Leicester did pretty well, really. Gonover off, and they managed to get a converted try. And need their big Fijian now if they're going to come up with some incredible finale.
Franco van der Merwe takes the ball, one-times capped by South Africa. And away goes Callum Black. Shoulders his way into and beyond Ben Youngs. Ball goes loose. Play goes on. Franco van der Merwe plays scrum half. That was a pretty decent pass too. And up comes Freddie Burns. He was looking for the intercept there. Adam Thompson tries to offload to Gonova. And there's been a knock forward.
Leicester read that very well. Will at half-time was showing Tommy Bowe coming very quickly on that 15-metre angle. Leicester came faster there, faster than they have for most of this game. And Freddie Burns targeted his man. He would have loved the interception, but he forced the knock on. That was good defensive press from the Tigers.
Well, Ulster will be pleased with this performance, certainly so far, as the Guinness Pro 12 goes into a mini hibernation, and Ulster kick it off again on the 13th of February against Treviso. And Ulster's next 5 games in the Guinness Pro 12 are against teams in the lower half of the table.
Here's the defence we're talking about. Look at Burns coming up really hard there, gambling. There's men on the outside for Ulster, but Leicester, it's very easy now in terms of decision making. They gamble every time. They're gambling for the interceptions. They come out hard without the ball. They've got to run hard with it, and I think they've just got to keep this ball alive now.
Scrum locked in position. It was like a freeze frame photograph for a second there. Barbieri picks it up. Here is Gonova. Will be wanting to redress the balance, having spent 10 minutes in the bin. Ben Youngs picks up, and penalty against Ulster. Off goes Youngs, quickly trying to keep the tempo high. And that's strong work from Barbieri. Ben Youngs, Freddie Burns, and it's Graham Kitchener on the short ball, coming in flat. Ben Youngs, he's through. Beautiful little dummy by Ben Youngs, and off goes Gonova. And in comes Youngs, and again Ulster trying desperately to slow that ball down. Seremai Mbai finds Freddie Burns with the bouncing pass. Burns the chip and chase from him, but the referee was again playing the advantage to the Tigers.
Yeah. It's a very clumsy kick there from Burns, but you can see that try. It's got the Leicester team thinking, well, hang on a minute, Ben Young's going, starting to make breaks, the management off their feet. He's very dangerous around there, Ben Youngs. He's very good in those phases, and Benjamin just stepping in field a la Tommy Bowe, just trying to look for those holes. Nice little dummy. Good play. I mean, there's 22 minutes to go. If Leicester were to score now, the momentum shift in this game would be huge, and Leicester could say to themselves, we got quarter of the game to get 2 tries and we're on the march. It's very unlikely still, but I wouldn't turn off your TV quite yet.
Good reception for Ian Henderson on his return to Ulster colours after that long break and that hip surgery. So Neil McComb is on for him.
Yeah, Henderson was excellent, and I just wonder, after the amount of time that he's been out, maybe last 5 minutes or so there was a little bit of tiredness, but that was a cracking hour's effort from the Ireland international. Great blindside here for Leicester. Matthew Tate standing, as you can see, bang behind the scrum. He goes off his left foot, his right foot. He's got Gonova, Thompson, and Ben Young there with that arcing pace he's got. Dangerous situation.
Ian Herbst, a direct replacement for John Afoa. Of course, Ulster losing some big names last season, Afoa and their captain Johan Muller, and Tom Court as well, who left, and so did David Humphreys. So a significant shift in personnel. So 20 minutes for the Leicester Tigers to score 3 tries, and enough points to get ahead of Ulster as well. Off goes Barbieri, strong and hard and direct from the Italian. Ben Youngs. Here is Gonaba now, and Ian Humphreys makes the tackle on Gonaba. Not 10, and it's another advantage to the Tigers, so they are ramping up the pressure here on this Ulster team.
Yeah, we're going to see a yellow quite soon if Ulster don't stop conceding penalties.
You push before. Yeah, and you move your scrum.
Fresh front row on, seeing the impact that Balmain's had. If they can get a right hand and get Youngs round with Crane, who carries well. Dangerous situation, and you do feel now 19 minutes to go. Leicester 5 metres out from the Ulster line. If they are to pull off this sensational comeback, the second try has to come right now.
Crutch!
And Ulster haven't been playing with a huge amount of confidence of late.
That's why I said earlier, Mark, the shift in momentum for Leicester and against Ulster would be significant.
Another penalty. Here is Barbieri now. Ben Youngs and the fumble in contact, but Pascal Gozer had issued the warning, so he has to go to the pocket now. Ulster knowing exactly what they're doing in those situations, and that might have been why we saw the wry smile on the face of Richard Cockerell. Come to me, says the referee, and go over there to Callum Black, who's been yellow carded.
Black's off, we've got a scrum now, so Ulster will need to get somebody on the field, which will mean possibly a back row forward going off.
And it's Andrew Warwick.
Warwick, isn't it?
Yeah, Andrew Warwick comes on, just signed his first senior contract here at Ulster, but a lamb will have to be sacrificed as well.
It's not cathedral quiet, isn't it? But you're an Ulsterman, Mark. It's not usually this quiet here. And this is a moment when Leicester have got to really impose themselves and create that nervous setting.
Well, it was riotous about 10 minutes ago, and there's definitely a little bit of a hush around the stadium now, and the lamb is a pretty big lamb in the shape of Neil McComb.
Left.
So as you say, Stuart, the Tigers have to pounce now, dig the claws into this Ulster side.
Crutch!
Extra man, 19 minutes, 5 metres out.
Set.
So again, I think it's now or never for Leicester.
Well, they've got 10 minutes of Champions Cup survival time with Ulster on that yellow.
The distance, your foot is too far.
Let's see if they can find that survival instinct.
Ulster, sorry, Mark, Ulster will be delighted that we've got that horrible world of collapsed scrums, and 13, 14, 15 seconds goes. Tommy Bowe packing down. Is he packing down at number 8?
Looks like he is, yeah. Tommy Bowe is your new number 8. There's Richard Cockerell.
He'd carry well, wouldn't he, Tommy Bowe, off of scrum going forward.
He wouldn't be the smallest number 8 we've ever seen either, at 6'3", 6'4", and close to 16 stone.
Set.
It's probably small for number 8 these days, to be fair. All these humongous South Sea Islanders around. Well, the pitch cutting up really badly here, but the referee again, Pascal, goes there. Well, he's made a good decision there. He's moved them away from the mud heap.
I need your foot not too far away to support your body weight. And long bind for you, shoulder above the hips, and straight.
It's all about the shoulders. And the referee speaking to McKillie Riso and Vian Herbst. Now they got to find a piece of turf that hasn't been savaged. And they're going to pitch their tent right there.
He's in front of you, eh?
It's been a problem this season, the state of the turf here at the Kingspan Stadium. It's the only thing that lets this rebuild down.
Where do you go for your croquet with a pitch in this nick?
Don't play much croquet in this part of the world, I can tell you. Ulster down to 14 players, and Barbieri trying to spin away off the back of that scrummage. Ben Youngs, Geraldini is the carrier this time. Rory Best tries to shape himself with a turnover, doesn't manage to achieve it. Here is Gonova. Gonova sets. Here is Ben Youngs, the flat hard pass for Seremai Mbai. And again, Ulster have to work hard to stop the Tigers cracking through and exposing their defensive line. Can Ben Youngs do it on his own? Franco Fundamerve, who's a big tackle count this season, makes another one. And Leicester know deep down what simply must happen in this sequence. They've got to get across the line. Ben Youngs, Freddie Burns, little short ball for Gonova, who's got real strength in these situations. Tackle! Ben Youngs, and it's to Chavez now. Well, they're certainly getting closer. Freddie Burns. Ulster closing down the space on the outside. Ben Youngs again, and Geraldini throws a little bit of a loose pass there, and Benjamin has to go back to reclaim possession for the Tigers.
Well, fantastic defence there from Ulster. They're now having to play without the ball for a large period of time. Nothing summed it up more than Jared Payne's tackle here. Absolutely brilliant tackle on Seremai Mbai. Picked his line, came fast, wrapped his man up there. Wonderful defensive play from the Ulster fullback Payne.
Jared Payne playing fullback tonight. Louis Ludick damaged his ribs last week, and he will of course be in Joe Schmidt's plans for the upcoming Six Nations. Payne, who made his debut for Ireland in the recent November internationals, back after a foot injury. Payne. Well, Ulster have done pretty well to frustrate Leicester here and drain away the egg timer.
I mean, it does drive me mad, and you look at that top left and that clock ticking, and it's wrong. I mean, the problem is, of course, the game can go on forever otherwise. As much as we love it, I got to get to Limerick tonight, and that's quite a long journey. But we really have to do something about this.
Yeah, it takes the energy out of the game, does it? Really slows it down. Here's Mbai. Another hard line from him. Luke Marshall tackles Ben Youngs. De Chavez carries again. The tackle from Clive Ross. Freddie Burns, little switch ball this time. Roger Wilson tackles. Roger Wilson, who played for the East Midland rivals of the Tigers, Northampton, in that 2011 final against Leinster. Ben Youngs, and they're looking for fast hands on the outside there from Michele Rizzo. And Ulster at last have the ball. They haven't seen it for a while. Roger Wilson in possession. Here is Pienaar. Ian Humphreys puts a rather ragged kick across to the far side of the pitch. But again, Ulster up quickly in defence to try and snuff the Tigers out.
20.
Need a scrum half, and the scrum half is Matthew Tate. Now Geraldini. Salvi to Miles Benjamin. 92% possession in the last 5 minutes for the Tigers.
And then your fly half puts in a drunken kick like that, just when you want to clear your line.
That's a good pass from Freddie Burns to the Chavez. Really flat and crisp. And the arms out from Pascal Gazer. Another penalty against Ulster. The crowd aren't happy about it this time, but even more unhappy about it will be Richard Cochrane up there, because this continues to add to the frustration. Ulster doing a professional job in running down this clock and preventing Leicester from developing that momentum they need so desperately.
In the second half, you could see also 6 penalties conceded, Leicester just the one, and that actually illustrates the fact that Leicester have now been the side going forward after that brilliant Ulster blitz. The last 10 minutes or so, it's been all Leicester, and Ulster have just infringed, and they've held on quite comfortably. Still 12 to go, though.
Geraldini, Graham Kitchener. Let's see if Leicester can fashion an aggressive maul this time. Ulster did well to defend their previous efforts. Well, this looks a little bit better. They're being forced into a tight corner here, Leicester, and they got to get out of that corner, and they do through Miles Benjamin. This is where they need the quick ball for Ben Youngs. Freddie Burns puts in the kick for Gunava, and up goes Pienaar, and Pienaar calls the mark and then launches one long, and Jared Payne is off in pursuit. Graham Kitchener is back there, and Payne hits his man, and for the first time in quite a long time we hear the roar from the Kingspan crowd. Here is Tate, now Burns steps inside as opposite number 8 Humphreys. Ulster caught offside here, the advantage to Leicester, penalty coming.
I'm intrigued to know why Owen Williams... Owen Williams is number 1. I'm surprised he didn't start. I'm surprised he hasn't been on this pitch for a while. It wasn't a great chip from Burns. He's overplaying his hand.
Made a score from the Parc of Scarlets, and it's as you were. Toulon still leading by 26 points to 3, and well, there can't be too long left there down in Wales, so that will guarantee Toulon a home quarter-final.
No one will want to go there. Well, we will, but no other team will want to go there.
Leinster didn't enjoy it too much last season, did they? And Leicester before them going down to the Stade Félix Mayol and coming away well beaten as Toulon marched to their consecutive titles. Stand up for the Ulster man, and it's an Irish man who's on the pitch for Leicester now. Niall Morris back after injury, ankle ligament damage, and Thompson is off. Freshly bearded.
Could Leicester have gone for more distance with that penalty kick? 3 tries needed in 10 minutes from the halfway line. They've gone 2 meters outside the 22. It's just the little bits and pieces. Just thinking, what have we got to do to make it happen? And not quite pushing the envelope far enough.
Something's on here. Sam Harrison's at the front of the line out, the replacement scrum half, and he moves into the scrum half role. And now Barbieri. He's been pretty effective since he's come on as Barbieri, carrying pretty well. And now it's Rizzo, another of the Italian internationals in this replacement front. Oh, it's another penalty and advantage here to the Leicester Tigers.
3, no running away.
Ulster failing to roll away, so Freddie Burns has the free shot at the cross kick taken by Ian Humphreys. And the referee, well, absolutely running out of patience. It had to be another yellow card for Ulster. They know exactly what they're doing in there. Vian Herbst this time is sent to the bin. It must be driving Richard Cockrell absolutely bonkers.
It's serial offending. But you know, when you're 26-7 up and you're in control but you can't get the ball, Ulster wouldn't be the only team in the world that have been guilty of doing that.
Have Leicester ever done it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Leicester have appeared in 5 finals in their history, lost in 97, 07 and 09, Wasps, Leinster and Brie, but won those back-to-back finals at the turn of the century. In the Dean Richards days. Sam Harrison. Here is Rizzo. And Ulster intercept through Franco van der Merwe. So he's done well again there, the big lock forward. He's not just a line-out operator. He really does put himself about around the park. Benjamin. Matthew Tate. Long way to go from there. Here's Niall Morris. Crowd bay for the forward pass. He takes on Jared Payne on the outside. Niall Morris, who's played for the emerging Ireland team. Harrison. And Ulster up again very quickly in that press defence. Real line speed. They've been a set of Usain Bolts at times, the men in white. They go wide through Kitchener. Nice little dummy from Kitchener. Here's Tom Croft. We know he's got the legs as Croft, but Ulster cut those legs from under him. Freddie Burns, Matthew Tate in midfield on this occasion, and he darts away from the attempted tackle there from Andrew Warwick.
No hands.
Harrison. Here's Luke Marshall. He makes the tackle, takes his man around the waist in a Greco-Roman wrestling maneuver. And now Tom Croft again, and he's bringing a little bit of energy into the midfield. Sam Harrison is pounced upon by Lewis Stevenson, but didn't get all of the meat there, slipping slightly off the tackle. And Leicester trying to clear out desperately. Here is Harrison. Freddie Burns to Gonova. Harrison. Must be some tired Ulster defenders out there by now. They put a lot of tackles in the last 20 minutes or so. Ulster getting over and on top of the ball through Clive Ross, but didn't quite clamp himself there for long enough. The replacement open side. Freddie Burns, now Niall Morris. Here is Matthew Tate. Luke Marshall makes the tackle. Darren Cave, the hat-trick man, is there as well. Closing in on the final 5 minutes. The Leicester race in terms of Europe is run, and that, you feel, may well confirm it.
Final whistle, yeah, plenty of muscle from Leicester, but mentally they haven't been sharp enough. Too many of their ball carriers have been isolated. They haven't been able to get quick enough ball. And Ulster, yes, they've had to resort to some illegal tactics. They've paid the price with a couple of yellow cards, but it's not much of a price, because when they've been down to 14 men, Leicester simply haven't been able to take advantage of that extra man. They have never been able to generate the extra pace that they require. Tate has been the pick of their players, but it hasn't really happened. It's never happened for them today. Lots of ball in the last 5, 10, 15 minutes, but not really a great deal of idea.
Now Rory Best goes off. He'll be pleased with this performance all round by his Ulster Chargers as they gain their revenge for the first round defeat at Welford Road.
The Heineken man of the match. Normally I give it to Rory Best when I come here, but not today. He's led his team brilliantly, but Darren Cave has scored a hat-trick. But in the first half in particular, his defensive line was excellent. 3 tries, a superb performance. My Heineken man of the match, Darren Cave.
And I guarantee you that Rory McIlroy will be watching this somewhere across the globe, and he'll be on Twitter sphere very shortly to congratulate his old schoolmate.
Rory who?
As he's now known. Pinar in behind Niall Morris. Does well to keep the ball in play here. Matthew Tate fires into Miles Benjamin. Benjamin takes on the Ulster defence, and the two centres combine in pincer style. Harrison and Freddie Burns. Comes off the fingertips of Kitchener, but it goes backwards to Niall Morris. And it's the front row union now, in the form of Geraldini, who carries for the Tigers, and carries well. Showed a good bit of pace in that channel. To Chavez. They're clearing out a bit more quickly now, a bit more urgency, but it's far too late for the Tigers. They needed this quick ball a lot earlier in the game. Burns and Cave appropriately makes the tackle. Full time in Wales, Toulon 26, the Scarlets 3. Gives Toulon a home quarter-final. That's guaranteed at the Stade Félix Mayol.
And it does mean that they will be second unless Clermont get a bonus point win against Saracens tomorrow, and frankly I don't see that happen. So right now, very interesting. Bath aren't in the top 8, but they're playing Glasgow at home and expect Bath to be there at some stage tomorrow. It's getting very interesting now.
Rob Herring is off the bench for Ulster. Made his international debut against Argentina in June, South African born. Well, now the fans here can enjoy their loud renditions of Stand Up for the Ulstermen, because the victory is secure, the bonus point is secure, and they can move with a little bit more confidence now into that mini hibernation I was talking about before the Guinness Pro 12 restarts. Won by Leicester. Geraldini goes down on it.
Haven't been enough of those to Leicester, have they? I mean, that was good defensive work by Croft, but Ulster's line-out has been very solid against Leicester's big weapon.
Tom Croft, here is Morris.
Well, that was a kick that said, give up. Came into this game and most of the question marks were about Ulster. We come out of the game, Ulster haven't answered everything because they've got to do more than produce the odd golden performance, as we've seen for 45-50 minutes tonight. But Leicester will have a long look at themselves on their way back to the East Midlands.
Franco van der Merwe, 80+ line-out takes for him this season in the two competitions. And there's a maul with a little bit of momentum, more than a little bit of momentum. Roger Wilson holding it at the back of that maul. And it's Miles Benjamin who intercepts. Can the Leicester Tigers develop from here? Niall Morris with a pass out to Matthew Tate. He'll do well to keep this one in play, and the frustration is almost complete.
To say not much has gone the way of Leicester would be an understatement. Interception, you're thinking, can something happen here? A little bit of broken field. For once, Leicester do offload it, but then the pass from Morris to Tate's a horror. Tate's done what he can, trying to keep the game alive, and he's done that most of the evening, but not everyone has been on his wavelength in his Leicester colours.
Franco van der Merwe, good line-out take. He really is a talisman in that department for Ulster. And here is Pinar, a little switch, and now Tommy Bowe takes the pass from Ian Humphreys.
Be careful.
Luke Marshall. Is there one more try in this Ulster team in the last 30 seconds? They've had to absorb a lot of punishment in this second half from the Tigers team. Here's the spinner on the left wing for Ulster again, doing one of his little twists, but not releasing at the breakdown, and a penalty to Leicester, and away they go through Riso. And now it's Ulster's turn, and what a roar around the stadium to greet that penalty decision. And that's the end for Richard Cockrell and his men. The shutters come down on the Tigers Champions Cup campaign, but the Ravenhill faithful will be mightily pleased with the way Ulster have finished off their campaign with a bonus point victory against the former champions, former two-times champions, the Leicester Tigers.
Well, Rizzo's last penalty there summed up Leicester. He just went head down fast as he could into about 4 Ulster players, a white brick wall, penalty turned over. Leicester put a great deal of physical effort into it, but intellectually they came a long way short of an Ulster team who were far smarter in everything they did. The question about Ulster coming into this match, being out of the tournament, is would they have the pride? They said beforehand they respected the tournament, they respect their fans, they delivered on that front, they scored some cracking tries, and with a hat-trick from Darren Cave, there's no doubt at all the best team won, and they won by a deserved margin. Leicester had lots of possession, they didn't have enough ideas. For Ulster, an excellent evening.
Well, they are a champion team, Leicester, Stuart, but what must they do better going forward in this Champions Cup campaign? They've won their 3 home games, but they've lost all 3 on the road.
Play with variety, a bit more confidence and a bit more subtlety. Brick walls today, and you don't back down brick walls when they're like this at Ravenhill.
OK, let's hear from our man of the match now, and he's standing down on pitch side with our man, Will Greenwood. It's Darren Cave, of course.
Darren, so often we see sides in the European Cup who've got perhaps nothing to play for in terms of group qualification. Look to the future, look to the Pro 12 or the top 14, but this was an Ulster side possessed tonight. So where did that inspiration, where did that performance come from this evening?
I suppose it's one of those things, the more everyone writes you off, the more backs against the wall you are, the better you come out fighting. For us, we talked about during the week that any team and any player can get up for a massive game when there's lots to play for, but when it's a dead rubber for us and all you got is pride, playing for the people here and playing for the shirt, it was very important to us that we put in a good show, and we're happy with how we went.
It looked defensively as though you're ready for Leicester to come hunting for those 4 tries. The press, in terms of leading that press, is that a whole 15, or are there individuals who you look to take it on?
Well, in the end of the day, everyone's got to make the tackles. You know, Johnny Bell, our D coach, has worked very hard. It's amazing the beating we took last week, and to ship, I don't know, 8 or 9 tries, I lost count, but for there to be still so many positives in our defence to take forward, that's what we did all week, and I think we made it hard to attack tonight.
Individually, in a beaten side in Toulon again last week, some outstanding breaks tonight, a hat-trick and a European performance. Where's your form right now, looking forward to the Six Nations?
I've been happy with how I've been going. Played a lot of rugby of late, which I'm very quick to complain about. Well, I'll be complaining when I'm not playing as well. I'm happy with how I've been going tonight. Hat-trick's my first hat-trick for Ulster, and I didn't have to do a lot for all of them, but they all count, so I'm pretty happy going into the Six Nations.
Well, congratulations, Dan. You are the man of the match. I'm going to bring Heineken man out, Pat Marr from Heineken, to present you with your award.
Cheers.
Thank you, Pat. Cheers, Darren. Good luck with everything. Joined by Ben Youngs, Leicester skipper. Obviously a huge disappointment. It just seemed that Tigers wanted to hunt those tries, but couldn't find the breaking point, the weakness in Ulster's defence tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we knew it was going to be a huge task anyway, coming in just to get the win, let alone trying to score 4 tries. So we went after it, but, you know, I felt that we were just a little bit one out at times, and, you know, we didn't get out of the back. And with their blitz defence, we couldn't get on the outside of them, which was frustrating. But full credit to Ulster, we knew they were going to come out, even when they had nothing to play for. They're a very, very proud team, and they showed that. And, you know, we didn't have much answers at times.
In terms of the performances, I'm not suggesting it was becoming a theme, but at times when Leicester come under pressure, it becomes that 1s and 2s. Where's that unity going to come from?
Yeah, it's frustrating because there's been a tendency this season to be a little bit one out and try and rely on our big ball carriers. So, you know, for us, I think we've got to stick to what we're good at, which is obviously scrum and line out, and then try and build our multi-phase on top of that. And it's not ideal, you know, you've got Nicky, who's a world-class winger playing at 13. Obviously, you've got Seri in the centre as well. So, you know, you've got 2 very physical guys, but they don't offer as much distribution as someone like Ant Allen perhaps would. So, you know, we have to go with a different mindset. And then, unfortunately, we probably lacked a distributor or just someone just to unpick that defence, and that showed at times.
And rugby can so often be a game of confidence. And what are the confidence levels like within the Tigers? Can they feel they're going in the right direction and it's small tweaks, or is it just one of those moments at the time where you're up and then you're down and you just can't find that consistency?
Yeah, I think that's the word. Consistency for us is trying to build on momentum. You know, we have a good result at Welford Road last week, and it's for us, the story of the season has been trying to back anything up, and, you know, our away form has been pretty dreadful, and, you know, we've spoken about it in depth, we've spoken about it a lot, and we haven't quite come up with the answers yet, but look, this group of guys will keep working hard and keep battling to the end of the season. Obviously, we've only got one focus now, which is the league. We've got some young boys get an opportunity next week in the LV, so, you know, still plenty to play for, and it's important now that we knuckle down, we go back to what we know best, and, you know, we've got experienced guys that have been here and done it before, and hopefully that'll be enough to get us through. We're waiting for some big guys to come back from injury, You know, we're not relying on them solely, because a lot of us need to do the graft and get ourselves back on track in both league and obviously next week in the LV for the youngsters.
And good luck for the rest of the season in the Six Nations. That's what it's
So the Tigers' race is run. It was always going to be a long shot, but I'm sure it'll be bitterly disappointing for Richard Cockrell that in truth they never really came close this evening. Leicester out.